The old traditional neighborhood watch program has started to fade away in Elk Grove, so that's why we're changing it a little bit. These bigger meetings for the whole village where everybody can talk. The crimes that happen on the west side of town are the same crimes that happen on the east side of town. There is no magical wall. 53 sometimes helps, but it happens everywhere. So if it comes to it, and I'm open to suggestions, I've had a couple of people email me and say, hey, I'd prefer this, or hey, how about you talk about that? That's what I need, because I can only base it off of what I know, and I need people to tell me this isn't working, or this is working, thank you, or try something new for this, okay? My feelings don't get hurt. I've been a police officer for 13 years. It's not gonna make me sad what you say. So what we're trying to do is open communication. We want you talking to us, and we want to talk to you. We want you to know what's going on in our world, and we want to know what's going on in your world. At any given time, there could be anywhere from 7 to 10 more police officers on the street. So if you know your neighborhood, we can't be everywhere. We are looking for people who are outside, dog walkers, people who garden out in the front, mowing the lawn, people who are outside all the time. I might go down, I might drive down, trying to think of a good example here. What's that? I might drive down Gibson and make a turn and end up on another street, and I might be 1 minute behind somebody who's doing something bad. And I could be in and out of every single street all day long, and I might not catch up, and I might get lucky. I mean, it's half luck, half hard work. If I'm not at the right place at the right time, I'm not catching them. So you guys are our eyes and ears, and we really need that help. I know some people have said to me, well, I was only told to call 911 when it's an emergency. Who here thinks that, right? In this suburb, and in a lot of the surrounding suburbs, you need to call 911 whenever you need a police officer at all. Okay, so a suspicious person, they might not be hurting somebody, but you're like, I don't know who this person is. They aren't from this neighborhood. They're looking into cars. This is weird. And then they'll call the desk. So I may have talked to some of you over the last 5 years. I've been pregnant a lot, and I was at the desk a lot. So I would call, I would answer, and there's a suspicious person on my street. And I say, all right, I'm going to transfer you to 911. No, don't transfer me to 911. It's not an emergency. Well, that's how we record everything. Everything is time-stamped. Everything is recorded. And then we're responsible. That keeps us accountable. That says, this officer said they're going. They left at this time, they arrived at this time, they said it's a report, and then that report gets tracked up to records when we actually do the report. So everything is documented. If it's nothing, we talk to the person, we say thank you, have a nice day, and we walk away, right? If it's something, great. You guys just did exactly what we would hope you would do, is to help us out. It's very important. And I'm also going to leave time for Q&A too, questions, and if you can raise your hand as I go to whatever you need to do. We're going to do meetings 3 to 4 times a year, depending on what people like, how many times people want to come and hang out with me. Every month there is not a meeting. I'm going to do a newsletter. The newsletters are going to be, I call it training. So I'm going to put in there, what I'm seeing is happening for crimes, and then I'll say, here's some training. Here's something, how to recognize this. Here's how to recognize that. And then I'll put in there information. So like this first meeting, I'm giving you guys a bunch of information that I want you to have that I don't see all the time going out on the internet, the good stuff. So that's going to be the newsletter. And then the meetings are going to be this, big group meetings, unless you guys don't like it, and then I'll split it up, where we talk about things, we get training. I'm always going to have a guest speaker. Guest speaker today was Chief Walsh. I'm going to have a detective come in and talk about financial crimes. I'm one of the firemen, said he'll come in and talk about fire stuff. So we'll do that. Just things to give you guys information and keep it new and fresh so that you have a reason to come and be involved. You're here because you care about your neighborhood, right? So and we care so much. We're here 24 hours a day. We're here on the holidays. We care so much that you guys are okay and your homes are okay and your kids are okay. So we just all really want to work together. Was that good? Right here? Okay, good. All right, so crime trends, I had that next. Oh, any questions about the program? There's no patrolling. Someone asked me that. No, you may not have my stuff and patrol. And there's no, it's a watch, meaning you're just informed and you're keeping your eye out. And, go ahead.
If someone is just walking around the neighborhood and they look like they are a businessman,
Yeah.
looking for opportunity, they're not knocking on any doors, but they're just walking around taking notes as they walk up and down the block, looking at people's houses and maybe looking for places to sell siding or whatever.
Okay.
What do you make a judgment call? I mean, if it looks like, they're not really a threat, they're just trying to make a living, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know I've been told before, always call 911, but this person's not from the neighborhood and stuff like that, but I don't know, I mean.
So his question was about if it looks like a businessman trying to make a living, maybe look at siding, sell something. My thing is if it catches your attention and you're still looking at him, where did you go? There you are. If it catches your attention and you're still looking at him and you're thinking about it, then you call us. Because if it didn't irk you at all, you would have stopped thinking about it right away. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So.
I mean, if I'm out working in the yard, I mean,
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
happened, that's why I'm saying.
Yeah. So.
I mean, I was out cutting the lawn
And somebody was walking, probably from the storm damage or.
was across the street just watching my neighbor's house. Now,
Yeah.
I've asked for quotes from people online
Yeah.
for my driveway and stuff like that, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe this person came by and he's just putting a quote together for him. I'm not going to hassle the guy.
Right, working man. Yeah.
I mean, he might be doing
Yeah.
a job, so.
Yeah.
And then I noticed he started walking down the block.
Right.
And then my neighbor came home, and I mentioned to my neighbor that this person was there and pointed him out.
Yeah.
And he was still walking down the block, and I didn't see a car anywhere,
So what you're doing, if you hear yourself, you're adding onto the suspicion. You're saying, well, he was just there, and then you're right.
I don't want to turn somebody in. I don't want to get somebody in trouble who's just trying to.
Well, they're not going to get in trouble unless they're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And when I talk to people, I talk to them like this. I say, hey, are you doing work out here? Oh, yeah. And, I try to relate to them. I say, oh, are you doing the siding? Yeah, I'm doing the siding. Oh, you doing a job or are you soliciting? Oh, I'm soliciting. Okay, do you have a permit? Here, yeah, I got one. Okay, here it is. Thanks, great. Have a nice day. Done. I'm gone. I don't write his name down. I don't do a report. I don't write your name down. I'm done because there's nothing there. But, oh, I don't have a permit. Well, then you're getting a ticket. Sorry. If you knock on someone's door that has a no soliciting sign, you can get a ticket for that. But my point is that you kept, the initial thing was not really a big deal, but then you kept thinking about it, and then you watched him walk to a different house, and then there was no car in sight. So you saw more, and you thought more about it. So I feel like that is warranted.
Trying to protect the neighborhood. I mean,
Right.
if I saw him go up to someone's house and start looking at the window or banging the door.
So I can tell you from my experience, I've never seen a burglar look like a burglar. So.
They don't have the black hat.
No, that like the neighborhood watch sign is the guy with the hat like this and the trench coat. He don't look like that. He looks like a guy with a vest on and a clipboard. Hi, I'm here to look at your siding. Hi, you want siding? Okay, cool. That's who we see. They are the people that make you think they're just working out there working hard, trying to make a living, and then you start to feel bad that you don't want to bother them. I'm just like you. But since I'm a police officer, I follow people. I'm just like, what are they? I just keep going and I don't let it go, and then I usually end up calling. So, but yeah, it's a valid point. If he's walking up doing this, has a clipboard, and writes things down, gets in his car and drives away, you could always get a plate. And then you talk to your neighbor, and your neighbor says, oh yeah, I was getting a quote today. Great, done. Tear up that plate. If not, you have a plate. You call us, you say this guy was scoping out this person's house, and then we go from there. Go ahead.
Where do you get no soliciting stickers?
So I thought we had some upstairs for free. Yeah, I thought we had some at finance, and I thought the police desk had a couple. And then Home Depot. Yeah, I bought like a cute one because I have a baby. It says, don't solicit. If you wake up the baby, you take the baby. Like, you are not knocking on my door. Leave me alone. But yeah, you can get them upstairs. There's just a little, the little rectangle ones, that one. But if you have that sign posted and visible and someone knocks on your door, we can write them a ticket. just so you know.
I'm gonna get one.
Yeah. So up to you. Any other questions before I move on?
Right here.
Oh, go ahead.
Now, that's not something I would call 911 for, but
Yeah.
they can't get a ticket, so how would you report that?
911. Yeah, I know. But what you have to understand is that you are not the first person that day calling for that, and you're not the last. This is how we use it. 911 is just a recording center at this point. No, because the non-emergency, like I said, super pregnant for a really long time, I transferred everybody to 911 because my call is not documented. It might be recorded, but there's no time stamping. There's no proof that I assigned an officer to do it. There's no proof that that officer went there to handle it. So it's an accountability thing. So you call 911, and they always say, 911, what's your emergency? You say, this is not an emergency. Or what's the address of your emergency? This is not an emergency. Whatever Gibson, guy's still listening, just want him checked out. Okay, what's he look like? Okay, have a nice day. They don't get mad. They're not gonna go, what? Why'd you call me? This is not an emergency. They won't do that because this is what all of us, Mount Prospect, Prospect Heights, Palatine, Rolling Meadows, us, Schaumburg, Arlington Heights, I could keep going. All of those towns, it's the same way.
Why would you call the non-emergency number?
Parking, to let me know I'm doing a really good job. Questions, general questions. I get a lot of questions up there when I was up there. Oh, how do you is it against the law to burn in a fire pit? Okay, yes, but here's the rules. Oh, okay, thank you. Stuff like that. General questions to talk to a police officer. Go ahead.
The neighbor Shenandoah that's been on the internet. Do you know anything about that?
Say it.
It's been circulating over in our area. Shenandoah.
What is it? The people?
It's on the internet.
Oh, so it must be true. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Is Shenandoah the street?
No. Okay.
The park?
No, it's something that was on the internet.
No, he can't find it.
There you go. Go to iCloud.
Go see if I can pull it up.
So while I was looking that up, you mentioned the internet, the Facebook neighborhood groups. So
We love those. I read them every morning. So his question was are we monitoring the Facebook groups, and can you be sure that we see a post? The answer is yes and no. We do monitor them. I'm on one under my own name just because I want to know what you guys are talking about. I want to know where I should go that day. We monitor our page, the Elk Grove Police Department. That's, but it's not monitored 24 hours a day. So if you see something, there was one group I saw, and I'm not going to use names. Somebody said something kind of off, and like maybe they were going to hurt themselves, and I just happened to be checking it that day, and I had like a couple minutes of downtime, and I called and sent an officer over there because I thought, but someone else also called from that page. So I was glad they did too. But we're not monitoring like we live in love too, we love and you know what, all those. But we are responsible for our page. But if there's not someone watching it live all the time.
let's say a neighbor posts on there that they saw a suspicious person roaming the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like, so that you're saying is like, I know the schools have services that actively monitor that kind of stuff or school-related incidents.
Yeah.
But you guys aren't doing that on the community pages, where if you see something suspicious, you either call it in. From what you're saying is you call it in and say, hey, someone's reporting this.
Yes.
in this neighborhood, and then you guys can then.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So as a new chief, I was about ready to write a check for, I think, $55,000 to a service that would monitor those. And I think it was, literally, I had gone to the finance director. It's a great program. It'll help us. And like a week later, that company went out of business because Facebook and all the feeds that they were getting didn't like this company relaying that information. So we weren't able to do that. Facebook, for me, I have a problem with it because 90% of what I'm reading, it starts out with the wrong information. And it's usually something simple, like I saw someone post the other day, something, probably a lightning strike happened at this house. It wasn't a lightning strike, it was some kids playing with a lighter. you know, and so, but then people start talking about, oh, you know, how dangerous it is, and the conversation goes to something that just, it's crazy. So, like Meredith was saying, it's, you know, we can't monitor the Facebook. Y'all can, and if you see something and you know, and say, you know, hey, there's a suspicious gray vehicle and the plate is AXS slowing down by my house, that's the plate of this unmarked car that I have. So if you happen to know that, hey, it's the chief of police, and, you know, the company gives
So
me
that
a
was happening
car.
last year with all the burglaries, is I think it was, the last neighborhood meeting is when they had a string of burglaries where you guys knew that residents were on alert because they kept calling in the unmarked vehicles.
Which is fine, we love it.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah, we love it. Who asked for the sticker on, there you go. There's some more in the back.
Go ahead.
I want to get
Um,
one. I'll get one.
With, I know you're gonna talk about Ring, but do you have other methods for getting information out to us quicker than normal? Like, the only way I've been finding out that people have been going into my, or attempting to get into my vehicles, which I got on video twice, is the neighbor across the way there on
Their
David Lane got
camera.
his stuff stolen.
Yeah.
And I saw somebody talking about it that happened on David Lane, so I went back
Yes.
to my cameras, and I saw them at 3 o'clock in the morning,
Right.
trying to get into mine, but it was exactly, they check all the doors, and they just jump out and jump in their car. The guy's just driving down the street with his door open, checking it, jump back in, going to the next one.
Right.
So that's the only reason why I knew about it, because I saw it on Facebook, but if
Yeah.
something like that is happening around here, it'd be good to get that out quicker,
Yes.
because unless I know about it, I don't go and really check my cameras all the time.
Yes. So, thank you for bringing it up. I'm going to talk about Ring, and I'll do that one quick. Ring has an app called Neighbors app. You do not have to have a Ring doorbell to have this app. We are in no way promoting Ring. I do not work for Ring.
Oh, you don't get a commission?
No, I'm just kidding. It's an app that anybody can have, and I'm going to go super deep into it, but this alerts you immediately, faster than Facebook, and it's an alert on your phone that goes bink. So your Facebook, you go in, you log in, you start checking stuff, and maybe you get to it 15 minutes later and you go, oh. But this goes dink. Someone's in your neighborhood looking at cars. So we're promoting the use of this free app. The Village is on Nextdoor. If anybody heard of Nextdoor?
Yeah.
That's a good one, but that one's kind of ad filled. There's a lot of ads in there and a lot of stuff like,
Our neighbor, yeah.
yeah, so a lot of stuff in where I live, they, you know, I'm selling this and that and so on and so forth.
You guys are on
Twitter,
It is.
yeah.
Just something like that, just to send something.
Yeah, so Twitter is one of Facebook. We have the Facebook, we have the Twitter. We're on the Village on Nextdoor. I don't know that the police have posted anything on Nextdoor yet. The other thing I'm going to talk about is Everbridge. Does anybody know what Everbridge is? Where you get a phone call from us saying there's an incident in your neighborhood, please stay in your home, or there's an incident in your neighborhood, everything okay, just letting you know that we're on this street and everybody is safe.
We got that on the barricade.
On Evergreen?
Yes.
Yes, so I was working that. If anybody was here in the Evergreen area, we had an incident with a barricaded subject, and we sent out an Everbridge and said, tell everybody, if you're in a certain area, you need to stay in your home. It's not under control yet, or, you know, we had the schools react to it as well. So but you have to sign up if you don't have a landline. Good question. You go to elkgrove.org, my PowerPoint. Chief called me out on that one. You go to elkgrove.org, you go to Residents tab. Under the Residents tab is a drop-down menu, Stay Connected. Go to Stay Connected, and then there's 3 links. The middle link is Emergency Alerts, and then you sign up. Because what it was before was it was landlines. It blasted out calls to landlines. Most people don't have landlines anymore, or they do, but they don't use them or unplug them or whatever. So this is a way to get your cell phone on this list. And then your cell phone will receive a call. Go ahead.
So if you did receive an emergency, such as like a soft lockdown at your daughter's school like I
Yes.
did, how do we find out more information on that? Is that like where we would request it FOIA? To find out?
After the fact, you mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah, FOIA would be after the fact. Yeah, not that moment. Soft lockdowns are for the schools just means something happened in the general area, and they just don't want kids leaving because then they could be exposed to something. So we just leave them in the school, business as usual. So that one would be after the fact. As far as a hard lockdown, you would have to wait for some of that information. I know that with some of the things were sent out through Everbridge, things can go online on Facebook, things are getting out as best as we can. But if you're not on Everbridge, and the schools should be calling too, sometimes. Yeah, so sometimes they do sometimes they do the blasts, but it just depends on what they do. We do as fast as we can as well, especially if other people are in danger. We're gonna shoot it out as soon as we can. But then the school is the one that has the parents' numbers and sends that out. So does that answer your question?
No, it was just through FOIA.
Yes, okay, FOIA.
I wanted to know what.
That's, Freedom of Information Act is FOIA. Yep.
5 days for a FOIA, so you're not going to get it right away. Soft lockdowns, though, just to reassure, I mean, because there's people in here, right, that you had to hide under your desk with the nuclear bombs. This is a little different nowadays. Soft lockdown, generally, there's a kid with a medical issue. And so they keep the kids in the room, so when the kid's being wheeled out on a stretcher at the ambulance, that's generally what we see for soft lockdowns. A hard lockdown would be more of a threat. And
Yeah, this wasn't that. This was on a couple streets over from the school. There was an issue.
Evergreen?
I don't know what. It's right across from.
Was it
Yes.
Ripley School?
Yes.
Ripley? That
Yes.
was Evergreen.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Evergreen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just curious what happened. So then I would request that from FOIA to read about it.
Yeah, and that's something that was.
Nosy, I just want to know.
Yeah, that was generally speaking, that was a problem at someone's house that we were trying to get under control, and we didn't want kids leaving the school, but the kids were safe in school. So that's why it wasn't a hard lockdown, because the threat was not at school. It was a soft.
Lockdown though, you get nervous.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, they had them. I mean, I was born in '83, and we had a lockdown when the couple robbed the bank in Palatine and were running from the police. I don't know if anybody remembers that. And we just sat in school. I sat in school till 6:30. Just, and I was like, I'm hungry. I want to go home. And that's, that because the threat wasn't at the school, but then that's just controlling the students and making sure that no one can come in as well. Yeah, that it's precautionary, and we like it. We like that the schools do that and keep the kids in there so that we don't have one more thing that we have to worry about. You know what I mean? So it's good that they do that. It's bad that it happens, but it's good that they do that they're working with us on that stuff. So go ahead.
Officer Sloan, along with the notifications that we can get from you, and I hope we leave here with a central place, where would someone go, and I guess we'd call more community policing, or with specific issues for the neighborhood, or an idea, or a suggestion?
Me.
And that number would be, or that
Yeah, I'll give you guys my phone number. Yeah, so he's talking about if you have a problem in your neighborhood, if you're like, hey, I've been seeing a lot of Brantwood with the spray paintings. I don't know if anybody lives in that area. Hey, this is a concern of ours. Let's talk about it. And I can say, here's what we're doing, so that you understand. Because sometimes I'll get phone calls. They'll say, I haven't seen a police officer on my street ever, and I'm like, okay, so. I have to bite my tongue and I say, okay, I'm sorry, I'll make sure you see one. But I try really hard, and we are in and out of the streets. You might be in your picture window and go, I don't see the police, and turn around to go to the kitchen, and there we go, right by. So saying to me, hey, I have what's going on with this? How can I help? What are you guys seeing? Was there any information I can get about that? Yes, call me, and I'll make sure you guys have my number for that.
Great, and then a follow-up on that, not seeing a police car.
Yeah.
I actually have to commend the department. I know it would probably be the culture that's created, and specifically several months ago, I was out in front, and the police officer, car was patrolling. It was a routine patrol, but the methodical way they were doing it, or he was doing it, really struck me as you need to be commended on that. He was, slowly going down the courts, the cul-de-sacs. The window was down, as this isn't someone who's just burning up time. And when I mentioned it, and I don't have a name, I wish I did, when I mentioned it to another car, a sergeant came by, I believe, and I said, I want to commend you. I said, that was pretty awesome work. I said, it was one, I watched him, and at first I thought, what, do we have a burglary? And I'm like, no, this was, quote, routine patrol. And he said, we created that. And he goes, expect that, and I thought, that was interesting, that wasn't just driving by.
I always make a joke when I used to do presentations to community. It's like, I never see a police officer in my block, and then I say, could you raise your hand if anybody's got a ticket for parking on the street? I don't have to show hands. That's my point.
Go ahead.
Yes, years ago, when you were going on vacation, you used to be able to call the village or come in and fill out.
You can still do that. Yeah, you can call in and let us know when you're going to be on vacation, what cars are going to be in your driveway.
I tried that because I lived in Itasca and they did it, and I tried that in Elk Grove.
Yeah.
And when I went to the station in the building, they looked at me like I was from Mars.
It could have had somebody that just didn't know. We do that, and you can tell everybody that we do that.
Chief Walsh said.
Yeah, Chief Walsh said.
And he's going to be living at my house.
Yeah.
I'm here on behalf of the chief.
Yeah, we do them. Just say, oh, I just want to put my name. It's people don't call a lot. We just don't get a lot of phone calls about it.
You can do it online. You can do everything. You can request an
you
exemption
can
for
request
parking on the street.
Yes.
There's an app for
You
it.
can.
Can you do vacation online though?
Yeah, you can, Austin has sent me a few. The name of the app,
Is this still under the Elk Grove stuff?
yes, right. You can sign up, there's an app where you can request overnight parking, get news from the village.
Same place where you can overnight parking, you can do the vacation.
Yeah, you can put it in any request. It says, it might ask what public works, what's the issue. Just put police department, vacation watch is what we call it. The dates in what Meredith.
So, and yeah, we what we ask for is who has a key. If there's a problem, we need to get in the house. We'd like someone to have a key. What cars should be in the, yeah, exactly. There you go. Under the, yeah, that's good. Or under the mat. Cars, plates.
The app is My EGV.
Okay.
There you go.
And it kind of looks like this, maybe.
My EGV is what you said.
Yeah, My Elk Grove Village, but it shows up as My EGV.
Yeah, got it.
Just don't make it EGV California.
Yeah, then I'll never check on your house.